Alright, welcome back. So we're here with the very first Season 4 build video. So you guys have been asking me, to talk about items, the Season 4 items, builds, and what about Season 4 build videos just like I did back in Season 3, Season 2. And the very first one I'm going to do here is CHAAC. I've been enjoying CHAAC a lot in Season 4. He's been awesome. I recently got him to Mastery 10 as well. One of my favorite warriors up there with Odin. I'll say him and Odin are definitely my top warriors to play as. And you may be wondering, what about the Season 4 Troll Life series? Don't worry, today alone I tried nearly 2 hours just trying to get a decent match for you guys. I don't have to win or lose, it doesn't matter win or loss, it's just, it has to be decent. Like, I don't want to upload something that, I don't even enjoy watching myself and just me getting my shit pushed in. So, enough rambling. Let's just get into the Season 4 CHAAC build video. Now, this is recorded on the patch when Season 4 just came out, so the items I talk about in this video, they very well could change, get rebalanced, removed, whatever. If that's the case and it changes to build up a lot in the future, throughout Season 4, I'll go ahead and, do a new one for Season 4 CHAAC. But yeah, let's get into actually building this. Now, right away, this is not, built with Conquest in mind. Personally, I'm not a Conquest player. I like playing pretty much anything else except Conquest. Siege, Clash, I probably play Clash the most. Because it's a nice balance between, a lot of chaos, and it has some objective push. You have towers and phoenixes, shit like that. But, yeah, get into it. Enough of that. So, I already have a few of the items here that I want to talk about, because I don't want to be rambling on too much. This is my second, take trying to record this, and I was just rambling too much in the first video, so I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet and to the point. And after I upload this, I will upload a Season 4 CHAAC video. It was Clash gameplay, had a lot of fun with CHAAC, and just kind of show you, how these items are really implemented in gameplay. That's something I got a lot for Season 3 was like, you should go ahead and show off a match with that build, just so you can see how it works. And I'll do that here today. I don't think that video has the same exact build I'm going to go over here, but, a lot of the same items. So, starter items. If the game mode calls for starter items, maybe like Clash, I still pick up starter items in Clash or Joust. Then for CHAAC, I still go into Bluestone Pennant. I think they took about 50 or so, or maybe just a flat out 100 mana or so off of Bluestone Pennant. Now the biggest thing, is that the biggest downfall for CHAAC, since he does have his passive to help out with just free abilities. I get Bluestone Pennant, of course, for that poke damage off of the passive. So, you start off, maxing your one or whatever, you throw it, does a lot of early game burst damage, that's for sure. So throw your axe, let the 2 ticks of the Bluestone passive tick on them, and then if you are clear to do so, you can, teleport to that axe and hit the enemy with your 2, and then apply another 2 dots on them. And that's a decent amount of poke damage, that's why I pick it up. But if you find something else better, for your liking, and maybe like you really enjoy playing around with War Flag, which I kind of like this starter item, it's pretty fun. Or maybe if you want to be like super aggressive tank, then you can go to Market Vanguard. The passive really helps out mitigate a lot of the minion damage in the early game, as well as dot damage. But regardless, Bluestone Pennant is pretty much what I go into if the situation arises to pick up a starter item. After that, nothing changed with the boots for Season 4, still going to the good old warrior type of boots. If you're going into like maybe like a fun attack speed CHAAC build because you want to have your passive up all the time for free abilities, then of course ninja type of boots. But for now, definitely just going to warrior type of boots. Now from here, personally I've been rushing straight into the Shield of Regrowth right after boots. Because this item only costs 2,000 gold, so it's really cheap and efficient for what it does. I mean, 300 HP for 2k, 20% cooldown reduction for 2k. This is a really strong item. I feel like they might nerf it back down. I used to pick this item even a lot for Season 3 for CHAAC. Now it's even better. It has 40% movement speed buff instead of 35. Now has HP. The HP 5 and MP 5. Cool stats, not the biggest deal, but again, HP, a lot of CDR, really great passive, and the passive works really great when you're trying to chase down targets. So whenever you pop your 3, you allow yourself to get the Shield of Regrowth buff, you have all this movement speed, so that way you can chase after your target and try to get them inside of your rain dance. So if you run after them and then they're in your rain, they are slowed up to 40%. So that way you can, stick to them and throw out some basic attacks, allow your teammates behind you to catch up to them and just assist you in the fight. overall, it's a really great item, and just the movement speed buff itself is just hilarious to watch, especially if you go into the Swift Wing. So after you leave the base, you get the 40% movement speed buff. So what I do is, it's a little bit more, it's not viable, but it's more of like a troll thing. So you go ahead and pop your 3 and, you know, run off the Fallon, and then you have, you know, 80% movement speed increase, and you're just hauling. It's great. You can see it later today. I actually did that. But yeah, Shield of Regrowth, you can pick it up pretty much anywhere in your build. Highly recommend it for CHAAC. Hide of Merchant, it's still one of my favorite defensive items for you know, both Guardians and Warriors. Best bet, if you do want to go into this item, pick it up early on, so that way you can get your stacks, you know, as soon as possible. These stacks are built off of kills, God kills that is, and assist. Probably don't recommend this if you're on the losing team and you're getting like no kills, no assists, then this item is not really worth it, and you probably want to invest your money into something else. But that's pretty much what the build looks like. You know, these, you know, items in a row. And then after you get Shield of Regrowth, these last 2 item slots right here in particular, it really varies. If you're more of an experienced Smite player, for one, you're probably not even watching this, you already know what to do. But you get more familiar with how to counter build gods, and that's where I personally feel how the build changes a lot. So me being mostly a frontline and support player, my builds, it's not really a copy and paste build for every match. I take it case by case. You know, sometimes I might need something like a Pestilence for the anti-healing. Maybe I might need maybe like a Mantle of Discord, or, you know, maybe a Borak, or whatever the case may be. You try to get what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, so in the case of you need more magical protection or whatever, you can go to a Borak, or if you need anti-healing, you know, Pestilence. Hallward Amulet, mostly the support picks it up, but in the case of, you know, when your team sees you pick a warrior, they assume you're going to be, you know, the tank or whatever, and you might have to pick this up or whatever. But yeah, but here's another thing. I forgot to talk about this early on. This build, it's not really a damage build, if you couldn't tell already. I build my warriors and guardians a little bit tankier, and allow my level lead to allow me to kind of snowball and allow my physical power scaling off my abilities to do all the damage, if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, so if you have a good lead and you can, you know, you don't need much more protections, you can go straight to damage items. Feel free to go into damaging items. I will still recommend going into some cooldown reduction. We have 20% so far. We can get another 20% and so that we can hit that 40% cap. So in that case, Yoan's Wrath is a pretty cool item. Another 20% CDR, which is like what you just said. Physical power, pin, you can go into this item, really great. If not, if you still want to go into more tankier options, then you can go, you know, again, straight into the Breastplate of Valor. If you have a decent lead and you want to continue going your tank route, then I would often go into the Mantle of Discord. So Breastplate of Valor, it's only physical protection and CDR. Mantle of Discord has both physical and magical protection and the CDR. Of course, you know, it's 5% less CDR and 5 less physical protection, but now you're getting 60 magical protection, and the passive can come in really well for you. So these are some good CDR options. Regardless if I have a lead or not, I still go into cooldown reduction at this point. So this case, let's just go into Breastplate of Valor. And then at this point, you know, you gotta keep in mind that you're gonna have some stacks of Hide of Urchin. If you have all 10 stacks, that's another 30 physical and magic protection. And so in that case, you can feel free to go into a damaging item. At this point, you know, I might go into like a Titan's Bane, or I can go into like a Void Stone, or I can go into something maybe like a magical hybrid item, which would be the Runic Shield. But for now, we can just go into something like, you know, Titan's Bane. And then this is something personally that I do, is that I'll actually go into more health regeneration items. I might go into like a Stone of Gaia, just for the massive HP and the passive, the second passive. This thing has 2 passives now. I can go into that. Another item that's a really nice flavor pick for me personally is Mail of Renewal. Of course, you gotta be careful with overcapping the cooldown reduction. You don't want to make that stat useless. You want to get the most out of your money. So let's say if you didn't go into Breastplate of Valor, then you can go into Mail of Renewal and still really benefit from that stat. But again, the build really varies. You know, even if you do go into Breastplate of Valor early on, you can complete your build and go back and sell Breastplate of Valor for that Mantle of Discord. I really highly recommend doing that. So it looks something like this. So that way you have, you know, you have HP from your Hide of Urchin, from your Shield of Regrowth, and you can complement all that HP with a lot of protections. That's the best bet you want to do there. And then again, if you can go into damaging items, feel free to do so, like Shield of Regrowth. It's a decent bruiser item. It's not too popular nowadays, but I still personally believe in Shifter Shield. I think I said Shield of Regrowth. But Shifter Shield, the passive, pretty cool. If you're above the 50% threshold, you have another 20 physical power on top of the 40, so you got 60. And then if you drop below, you gain 20 more protection for both physical and magical. And again, if the cases, call for it, if I'm being, shredded by hunters or attack speed assassins, Midgardian Mail is there to help you out. If you need the anti-healing, of course, Pestilence. If I can go into more damage, again, just like I talked about, you can go to other damaging items. Something that's pretty cool on a snowballing shock, Transcendence. If you can get like a early, a few kills early on in the game, if you pick this item up early, this thing will take you places, man. This thing will give you a lot of physical power. Even right now, I'm level 20. I have 70 physical power right now. I can pick this up, boom, 149 physical power. And to complement all that physical power, you definitely want to have penetration, and that's why we have Titan's Bane 4. So I have no stacks, and you have a huge physical power boost, so if you want to go into that, you can still go into that late game, but also a really good early game snowballing item if you can. Now there are some new items out there that I haven't really tried out a whole lot. Blackthorn Hammer it seems a little too situational for me to pick up right now. But let me know if you've been trying that out and how is it working for you. If you want to stack your slows on slows on slows, you can go into Frostbound Hammer. So that way you can charge item with Shield of Regrowth, get them inside your Rain Dance for a 40% slow, and then start auto-attacking them for more slows on Frostbound Hammer. However, there's probably some diminishing returns with that, so be careful with that. But again, I don't want to ramble on for too long. I can talk about items for fucking forever, and it's a problem, I know. Let's move on to Relics here. So they changed up the icons and some of the names for these, so they might be a little confusing. Something that you might want to invest trying out is this Embracer of Undoing. So if you're fighting against any bursty characters that can do all your HP really quickly, as long as you are good at timing this, you can get a lot of HP back. I'm not really sure, I think it was on stream, but I popped this at the right situation. I got back like 1,000 HP. However, there is a really strong counter to this item. Don't pick this item up, or relic, I would say, if they have anti-healing. So if you have, anti-healing debuff on you, like let's say the Cursed Ankh, where it reduces your healing by 50%, and then like the buffed version is like 65%. So yeah, if you're under, any anti-healing spells or whatever debuffs and you pop this, it's going to do nothing for you. That's the counter to that. But yeah, you can go into sprint, so you can sprint your way with Shield of Regrowth, get them under your Rain Dance, whatever. Just pick up whatever you need. And that is pretty much it. Again, I'm trying to prevent from rambling on for too long. This video's already long enough, but yeah. Again, sorry if I talked for too much, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, these build videos are not for experienced Smite players. Experienced Smite players, you already know what you're doing. You already know the items, you already know the gods, whatever. It's more for those of you that are new to the game, or maybe you're just new to the the character or the class, the warrior class role, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully it was somewhat helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.